be another added element to this high voltage GNCC.
And, you know, when we were talking about that earlier, you were talking about the dust and stuff like that. And we were talking about the weather. I started to bring that up. I mean, how ironic would that be to go from the extreme dusty conditions that we have, possibly the most dusty conditions we've had so far this season, to likely and possibly, not likely, but possibly the muddiest race all in one race. How awesome would that be?
It would be awesome for us. The dust seems like terrible, and you'd like to get rid of that. But I don't know, man. Ryan, you probably even have some experience. When you take a track that's this dry and slick, and then you put water on it, it's like the worst case scenario. I mean, especially these field sections are going to be like ice.
Oh, yeah. That actually has happened to me last year. I'm not sure exactly what GNCC, but started pouring, and it was sand. It was basically dust like this, and started pouring, and I probably went down like 3 times in like one section of the field. Sure. It just got, like Johnny said, when I'm pretty sure Rodney talked to him yesterday, or I'm not sure exactly one day, but basically if you put pressure on the bike, you're basically going to go down, and if you basically moisturize it, it's going to be slick. So
yeah, it's going to be gnarly if you put water on top of this hard surface. I mean, you can see rocks coming up and everything.
It is getting very hard packed. I mean, we keep talking about these powder berms, the silt, this, that, and the other, but what's happening is it's packing. The ground is packed. It's got a good clay consistency to it, so it's packing down hard and in between those rocks, and then it's powdering up. The dust is powdering up off of that, but it's still staying solid and hard underneath it. It's just the dryness coming off the top.
Yeah, that powder stuff is on the outside. The corner, the part of they're actually using is like concrete right now. So water on that would be gnarly. We did see Toth come by, and I feel like the gap stabilized. I don't think Caleb closed up since the last time we saw them. There's Josh Strang third. Now we got the radar out, not just for the rain, but for that 530 KTM of Ben Kelly. Is that him at the top of the screen?
yeah, that's him.
But I don't think that's as close as it was the last time. We were in a real tight section, and I think he was closer to Strang, and now he's dealing with 2 lap riders, so that might be the reasoning.
Yeah, those lapped riders, and they can cause some issues, as we've talked about so much. But, you know, the last couple of races, it's been that way because of, you know, the track's been a little bit tight and this, that, and the other. And I think the combination of the dust and the tightness is, once we get in, and that's what I mentioned earlier, once we get into the later in this race, in the thick and the meat of these riders, this track is not as long as what they had originally hoped. We do have over 250 riders on the racetrack here this afternoon, so that's kind of, you know, a broad of those riders usually start in that B class, and that's the tail end of the pack, or maybe, you know, so once they start working their way into that, it's going to get thicker and thicker, and then when they get into the A class riders, it's really going to be tough for them.
Grant Baylor coming through here. He's in pursuit of Ashburn, who is in pursuit of Kelly, who's in pursuit of Strang. That's going to be a podium battle. We'll see how that shifts. I think Strang has maybe responded at the challenge from Kelly. We can say there's definitely clouds overhead now. It's changed. It's definitely cooler now. Wind is still here. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see rain the way these clouds have rolled in. And, boy, that would change the race in a hurry.
But one thing, I mean, even though we had rain here last year and it got muddy, one thing that I noted, and it's doing the same thing this year, is it's raining a lot around us, but it seems like as it comes to us, it either dissipates or goes north or south of us. We haven't really gotten any major direct hits here.
Yeah, Friday, like you said, Friday it was really bad rain 20 minutes from here, but the track didn't get all of it.
But maybe it's the same case scenario as we were looking at last year when we were here yet.
There you go. Yeah, it's hard to believe. We're still only halfway through what's a 3-hour event in Grand National Cross Country. Here's Michael Witkowski on the Ampro Yamaha in hot pursuit. That XC2 class continues to deliver.
You know, Mikey and I alluded to this during the opener, and this seems to be this kid's, I don't know, just seems to follow him around. What is it about Mike Witkowski? I mean, I think we just kind of assume that he's there, and we don't really, it's almost like it gets kind of lost under the radar, but he's not. He's on our radar. We just don't, I mean, but he still seems to get lost, and I don't know why that is.
Yeah, at XC2 the last couple of years, I know he would nail his starts, but, you know, he would end up good, but winning the title, you know, it was tough, especially when Ben Kelly was rolling and threatening a perfect season. He got the lion's share of the headlines, but I really felt that Mike, with those starts and the speed he showed early, that he eventually he put the rest of the pieces together, we'll see now that he's with Yamaha, maybe that makes the difference. He's definitely a title contender now.
A lot more consistency, and I think with the leadership and guidance of Randy Hawkins, that's going to be, and obviously translated well for him, I think, so far in this 2020 season. By the way, I think it looks like it's going to be a 7-lap race. That's what we're being told right now, Jason, so these guys can start planning accordingly. We're working on lap number 5, so this next time around, we probably had a few guys check into the pits and things of that nature, but we've not had any, I don't think, full-on pit stops yet. So this next time around, I would expect that we're going to see everybody in for gas, goggles, water, everything that they can get to get back out there on the course.
And there is the 206. Josh Toth continuing to lead the way. Probably got some people watching today with the Zach Osborne entering this race. Zach's struggling a bit. I think he's outside the top 10 overall. But if you're new to GNCC, you might be wondering who's this Toth guy who's actually holding Caleb Russell at bay. You know, again, 3 years ago, he was marked as the next big thing in GNCC. Ben Kelly is his buddy. They're both out of New England. They both raced for that same Trail Jesters team growing up. He kind of took those headlines because he did even better in XC2 over the last couple of years. But Toth has had the potential. He's had the talent. He's been on the radar of the teams. It was just when you get to this XC1 class, you never know if it's going to hit or when. And then he's also had some injuries with breaking his leg and then re-injuring it. Well, today clearly is the day. We're now seeing the Josh Toth that people 3 or 4 years ago were theorizing, hey, could he go up and challenge Caleb on the big bike? He certainly is today.
Yep. Quiet confidence, too. Both he and Ben Kelly are really quiet, quietly confident. I mean, they aren't a bit cocky. They come to the racetrack and they just go and do their job. I mean, if you were to talk to them, see them on the street someplace, you would never peg them as motorcycle riders. You would never peg them as the best in the sport either. Just by the way they carry themselves, they are just so down to earth and so normal and so just, I mean, they're focused on what they're doing, obviously, but they're enjoying everything about life right now.
There's Ben Kelly in fourth through this monster mile. He was making a real run at Strang a lap ago, but now it looks like it's a bit about the same. The last 2 or 3 times we've seen them, the gap between Kelly and Strang is about the same. Got to wonder how hard Kelly had to go to close that gap as much as he did, and how much he's got left after that. Then it's the other monster, Babbitt's Kawasaki of Jordan Ashburn.
But did you notice all the lapped riders in between?
Yeah.
That's the key. Remember I said that as the race wears on, we're at the halfway point, and this is what we're starting to see. It could change the face of the race. I don't know if it's going to hurt or help Josh Toth, to be honest with you. So we'll just have to wait and see as he makes his way. This is through the final chicanes one more time. This is
we're going to get an update.
4 laps complete.
Almost got held up.
Josh Toth has led this one so far from the waving of the green flag. And it's not often that we can say that anyone, even Caleb Russell, has led from the get-go of a race. I mean, we've seen him out front early. We've seen him go back a few positions, and we've had different leaders at the end of the laps. So this is big news for Josh Toth as he leads this 4 complete laps into the halfway point and now into the home stretch for the checkers.
That's Rabbit, the truck driver there for FMF KTM, waving him on in. And now we got a goggle change for Toth.
And they're out.
That was just a goggle change, not gas.
No, they put some gas.
Well, that was the quickest just top off, I guess. If you're going to stop, you might as well top off.
Yep.
So do you think that goggle change, full tank of gas going in for Caleb, do you think the goggle change for him was more of the rain could be going? That's a really long stop in comparison to Toth.
You know, I think a lot of it, you know, with the dust and everything, I'm sure they're getting a lot of dust on the lenses and maybe inside the lenses with the sweat.
Yeah.
I think that could be an issue and a reason why.
Well, I'm thinking, remember, Auntie was on the radar.
Yeah.
Are they thinking you need goggles because the rain could come in?
And maybe have them freshened up with extra tear-offs.
But definitely that was a faster stop for Toth than for Caleb, I would think, right? Yeah, so
12.8 seconds, by the way. 12.8 seconds is what we were looking at. What was that, Mikey? Go ahead. Oh, okay, I got you. 12.8 seconds separating Josh Toth and Caleb Russell when they came through the finish line. 25:01 to a 24:51, so about 10 seconds faster was the lap, and I think that Caleb Russell's pit stop was 5 seconds longer is what our producer's telling us now, so we're looking at a 17 to 18 second gap whenever they left the pro pits.
It's Ben Kelly getting fuel now.
And one thing I'm not sure if you guys noticed, Ben Kelly entered the pits without any goggles. So that may be one of the reasons why he's not closing up on Josh Strang.
That's right. Man, we always talk about don't throw your goggles away in a mud race. I can't imagine riding in this dust without goggles. That would be even worse. You can kind of duck roost. Really, practically looks like they're planning for a photo shoot here. Trying to look good on Instagram. Okay, everybody's in position for their next stop. But we already saw Kelly, Russell, and Toth go through the pit.
That's, who is that? Is that Oliveira?
Maybe.
Yeah, Dante Oliveira.
Okay,
So,
hey, we got it on the gas can there. So Oliveira getting the full support from KTM. I think I just saw Grant Baylor squeeze by on the left side of the camera cut as we wait for this pit.
And that's...
And then the Trail Jesters team further up.
So forward will be Jonathan Gerard. So
can confirm, guys, that was Grant Baylor sneaking through right there. And to confirm for you on Ben Kelly as well about the goggles, he actually tossed those off right as he was passing the Husky pits, as did Johnny Gerard just now as he enters the pits. Okay, so he didn't have to go hammer 10 minutes or so in the woods without goggles. He tossed them essentially right before he got to his pit.
But a good observation anyway.
Yeah.
Very good observation.
That would have been bad, riding without goggles there. Right. You know, you'd be using your sleeve and your glove. I don't think, with rain and mud, sometimes there's absolutely nothing you can do. You use all the tear-offs and you wipe as much as you can, and then you're done. With the dust, I think you just got to keep wiping. Hitting those silt berms without goggles.
I think that's the beard of the week right there, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Beard of the year. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, we are in the halfway point of this one. 1 hour and 41.5 minutes. Josh Toth has led this one since the waving of the green flag. The gap down now around 15 seconds back to Caleb Russell as he goes for win 67. Josh Strang back in the number 3 spot. Ben Kelly 4th. Jordy Ashburn still holding on to a top 5 ride. Can Caleb Russell, 15-second gap, take the lead and the win? Heading into the summer break, stick around to find out. GNCC Live continues after this.
The Yamaha GNCC University returns, calling all ATV and motorcycle off-road racers. Are you looking to hone your riding and racing skills? Want to learn hands-on with the best of the best past and current GNCC racers and champions? Then sign up for the 2020 Yamaha GNCC University, returning to Snowshoe Mountain Resort September 23rd through the 25th. We're bringing together Yamaha's ATV and motorcycle racing elites to instruct in-depth courses on fundamentals of racing and riding. During the Yamaha GNCC University, students will participate in lectures about sportsmanship, training, proper nutrition, and mental preparation, along with hands-on skills and drills designed to improve your riding and confidence in a variety of terrain and situations. Reservations are on a first-come, first-served basis with limited openings, evenly split between the disciplines. For more details and to register, call Snowshoe Mountain Resort at 877-441-4386. We look forward to seeing you at the top of Snowshoe Mountain, then on top of the podium. And welcome back to GNCC Live from the Lilly Family Farm here on RacerTV.com. It's the high voltage GNCC round 8 of 13 as we get set to head into the big summer break. And
As always, you know, we talk about GNCC and the GNCC Racing Nation. You know, you see 15, 20 pros out there on the starting line and on the racetrack, and then you see all these other folks out there. Well, that's the amateur racers, our GNCC Racing Nation, as we like to call them, and we'll check in with some of those riders. We look at the 150B bike class. It is Lucas Corral's old Lightning Lucas out front in this one, with Cooper Jones back in the number 2 spot from that Emperor Yamaha team. Of course, looking at the 4-stroke B lights class, Drew Calloway, Blaze Moore, Hayden Schultz, TJ Fine, and Colby Dunham rounding out the top 5 in this one after 3 laps of racing complete in that 4-stroke B lights class. Looking at our next class now as we roll into the Vet B class. Jeremiah Taylor leading Jimmy Johnson, CJ Settinger with Joshua Webb back in the number 4 spot. And then Brent Ruman rounding out the top 5. You see riders checking in. Kurt Taylor just checked in back there in the number 6 spot, changing up spots with Wayne Westmoreland there. But Brett Belso leading the Senior B 40-plus class there is Jeffrey Hively running in the number 2 spot. Leon Whitaker is the 3rd place aboard the 130. Michael Ashley in 4th. And Shannon Hatfield rounds out your top 5. 4 out of 5 top 5 riders are from Ohio in that class. Looking at the XC1 class again, Josh Toth, Caleb Russell, Josh Strang, Ben Kelly, and Jordan Ashburn still your top 5 in this one as we roll through lap number 5 down here in the XC1 Open Pro class. And the XC2 250 Pro class, Jonathan Gerard, Craig DeLong, Mike Witkowski, Ryder Lafferty also not getting a lot of shout-outs today, but holding a very solid top 4 position aboard the 19. And Jonathan Johnson, Phoenix Racing Honda rider out of South Carolina, rounds out the top 5 aboard the 981. A good battle going on in the FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am class, says Nathan Ferderer, coming off of a 5th place finish a couple of weeks ago, up to 1st. Zach Hayes in 2nd. Jason Raines back in the number 3 spot. Mike DeLosa in 4th, and Jake Froman rounding out the top 5. DeLosa, I believe, got the whole shot in that class earlier today as well. As we look at the Open A class, Tyler Braniff leading Nathan Rector with Chase Hayes, who's featured on the event t-shirt as a top amateur, in 3rd. Brady Myers in 4th, and Alex Lugar rounds out your top 5 in the Open A class. Brody Johnson, another rider featured on the event t-shirt as a top amateur. He's leading the 250A class. Bubs Tasha in 2nd, Gavin Simon in 3rd, Brendan Poling in 4th, and Zachary Davidson rounds out your top 5. 150A class, Braden Nolette, who we saw changing his air filter there a few moments ago, leading on his KTM. Eli Childers running in the number 2 spot with Max Fernandez, the number 30 in 3rd. Ian Potter in 4th, and Max Russ out of Iron Station, North Carolina, top youth rider last year, running out the top 5. Another rider featured on the event t-shirt is the top amateur, JoJo Cunningham, leading that 4-stroke A lights class. Travis Raynaud in the number 2 spot. Nathan Davis is 3rd. Cole Whitmer in the number 4 spot. And Tyler Palmer rounds out your top 5. Junior AB 25-plus class, Zach Nash leading Dave Muchisco. That one should be a pretty good battle between those guys. Cody Jeffers back in the number 3 position. Grant Marriott is 4th. And checking out Andrew Boggs rounding out the top 5 in the Junior A B 25-plus class. Nathan Allring leading the Vet A 30-plus class out of Ohio with Pennsylvania's Joe Marsh in 2nd. Tom Truxell in 3rd. James Bauer in 4th. And Robbie Norwood rounding out the top 5. And Senior A, smiling Frank Messina leading old shotgun Sean Remington. Shotgun got the whole shot in this one on his Coastal Racing Husky. Joe Potter running in the number 3 spot. Vinny Tomic in the number 4 spot. Larry Sylvia rounds out your top 5. Open B class, Dawson Case Nixon. Gregory Tenney running 1 and 2 with Matt Sorge in 3rd place. Tyler Wibberly in the 4th place position. And it looks like Jordan Hubertese rounding out the top 5. Yep. And your 250B bike class, Parker Todd, John McGee. Also, Cameron Madison in the number 3 spot. Jonathan Settler is 4th, and Joshua Connor rounds out the top 5 in that 250B class. And the 150 class again. Rounds, Jones, Kohler, Gwynn, and Anthony Blackburn rounding out that top 5 as we take a look at that top 10, or top 5 overall results for the amateur classes here today, courtesy of our friends at Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. And the rain beginning to fall outside the broadcast booth. Jason Wygant makes his way back in, and this dust that we're seeing may begin to settle here pretty quickly now, it looks like.
Yeah, it's here. It's raining. It is not just on the radar. It's actually on the ground. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I mean, I don't know how much rain we're going to get. it's so dry and hard, and then the silt berms are so dusty. I don't know how it's going to affect it. This is really strange. If their goggles get wet with the rain, which they're likely to have that happen, then all that dust is going to stick to the lens. That's going to be terrible. This is a real wild card right now. And you see Toth still leading. On a dust race, the guys might say, yeah, a little rain would be nice. But I would think if you're Toth, you would have rather just, look, everything just stay the way it is.
Yeah.
I've been managing it right now. I really don't need rain and Caleb Russell closing the gap.
Yeah, the game's about to change for these guys. The big question is it raining where they're at on the property right now? That's
a good point.
These cells have been kind of, and that's what they've been. A lot of the showers that have been coming through here have just been cells. Some of them get part of the property while other don't get it, and or parts of the property get more rain than other parts of the property.
Makes sense.
Well, you can tell by the camera lens, there's a bit of some drops, so it's either still raining there or probably just came by real quick and went off.
There you go. Good.
I think it looks sunnier over there 2 minutes ago than it does now. We see some real clouds.
Hey, folks, we're watching the great racing here today, but we had a great race this morning. I know you were out in that race today.
I got to see it firsthand.
But
yes.
But congratulations to the WXC class, and I know Mikey Waynes is standing by right now with Rachel Archer down in the pits.
Thanks, Rodney. Yeah, down here with the Pro Yamaha pits, and Rachel Archer won the WXC today, but this was your first career win in the women's pro class, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Been working at it for almost a year and a half now, so it feels really good to take a win.
Well, Rachel, we have seen you over the last year and a half making that progress. Plenty of podiums under your belt, but what hadn't been able to put together that first career win. That monkey's off the back now, and I was talking about it all race long, about that progress that you have made in the right direction. What made the difference for you today?
I got a really good start, which helped a lot with the dust. Me and Brandy were riding together the first couple of miles, and then she made a mistake and crashed, and I was able to get round her, and I rode a solid race. I didn't have any mishaps, didn't fall off or anything, so yeah. Becca caught me on lap 3, I think it was, and I looked behind me and she was right there, so I just put my head down and went as hard as I could for the rest of the race.
Well, Rachel, again, a big congratulations on that first career win. I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more before it's said and done. Last question for you. What kind of momentum do you feel this carries for you into the summer break?
Yeah, it gives me a real big confidence boost. I've been working really hard, so let's try and carry that on.
Carry it on, exactly right. Rachel Archer taking the win here today in the WXC, your women's pro class. Rodney?
All right, thanks, Mikey Waynes. The Kiwi getting it done for NZ. Nice, Rachel Archer. I actually had a chance to go to New Zealand last year because they had a supercross race over there, and I picked up one of the magazines on the counter, and I'm telling you what, they're all about Rachel Archer down in New Zealand. They are so stoked to have someone that, as Mikey said, was a podium runner in the United States. Now they got themselves a race winner, so congratulations to Rachel out of New Zealand and the Pro Yamaha team for getting that win. And yes, I did have a first front row seat. Get to see it firsthand when they come by and lap you, and they're absolutely hammering. And you know, when you see one, you're going to see a whole bunch of others. So that was a great race there in the WXC. You knew the time was going to come one of these days where Rachel Archer would get the win. She did. Let's check back in now with our XC1 front runners.
Well, I'm pretty sure, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure Craig DeLong has made the pass on Johnny Girard.
Oh,
but,
for the lead in XC2.
Yeah, yep. I'm pretty sure.
Now, meanwhile, it's becoming a bit of a tradition here in 2020. Grant Baylor has some smoke coming out of his Beta. Here's our specialized rapid replay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is, out of the exhaust. That's, sorry, Beta, the factory one, Sherco. I was wondering if you'd be able to tell the difference between dust and smoke. You can, and it's coming out of the exhaust, which is really a bad scenario. Sometimes you'll see the bikes, smoke coming around on the clutch or steam coming out, and they can have some coolant come out and they can actually still run for a while that way. But smoke out of the exhaust pipe, that's a bad sign. And sometimes that goes from white to blue. And then the blue smoke, they usually say, is death smoke, because then that means all the oil is going past the rings, and then it's just a matter of time. So we'll see if Grant Baylor's Sherco can hold on. That's a new effort this year. We talked so much about that Factory One Sherco team coming over, originally with both Baylor brothers, now with just Grant. And all the things they've had to learn. They don't have all the aftermarket support. That's one of the most difficult things for them. The bike is good, but when you're racing on one of the more established brands, there's so much knowledge throughout the industry of try this part or here's a part we already have. So they're having to develop a lot themselves, and they've definitely shown speed with those bikes. Showing speed right now is Toth. That is your leader. Was that a glance of Caleb Russell in the background? Might be the first time. No, it's not. It's Lap Rider.
But that he was right there in the back.
I don't think it was close enough for him to really see him, though.
I'm going to say he's around 7 to 1. Let's see.
Let's see how high you count,
about 10.
Ryan. Yeah.
10 seconds.
He might have caught him right there. This might be the first time.
Caleb's probably seeing Josh.
Yes, I think so. He probably, in these open sections, I know it's dusty, but that might impede the vision. But that might be the first time he actually got a look at Toth. He's not going to see him in the woods with this kind of gap. Well, that's going to change things in a hurry if he can see the leader.
Oh, yeah. Jason, if you were in Josh's spot and you started hearing that Caleb #1 on you, what would you start thinking?
Here's the problem. I bet you, Ryan, that's already what they're thinking about before they can even hear it. We call it in motocross when Eli Tomac gets a bad start. It's Jaws. It's a shark out there. You might not see the shark, but you know it's in the ocean.
Yeah.
And it's in the back of your mind the whole time. So the whole time Toth has been leading this race, you've got to think, where's Caleb? Where's Caleb? Where's Caleb? Where's Caleb? That'll wear on you a little bit, and then when he gets to you, well, now the shark is smelling blood. So as I said earlier, I think
yeah, Caleb saw him right there.
Oh, yeah.
Just took a look.
Yep. So we're going to see that last step, that last 2 laps, and especially the last lap. Does Toth have that in him? GNCC, that final hour, things change a lot. And it's not like Toth's not in shape. Obviously, he has great equipment. He's on the same bike, essentially, that Caleb has. But there is some sort of experience you have to win these races and do what it takes to win them on the last lap. A lot of times riders will tell you, and teams will say the same thing, you almost need to win it on accident. You almost need to have something go wrong for somebody else to do it. And then you're like, now I get it. Now I understand how it works. To do it in a straight-up battle, it's tough. You probably see it every Saturday in the ATV race. How many times it looked like they might have Walker Fowler's number, and then somehow, some way, he figures out a way to get it done. And that's what Caleb Russell does all the time as well. So it's going to be tough on Toth.
Oh, yeah, and that's where Caleb's experience comes into play.
Yep.
He is a patient rider, and he knows where that leader is no matter what. Even if he's not seeing it, he knows exactly where he is, and he starts being patient, but then I'm pretty sure the last 2 laps he just gives it all he's got and puts the pressure down.
Yeah, man, those last laps and the level that he and Thad Duvall, Trevor Bollinger's been going there, Josh Strang won a race this year, the level that those guys are willing to push out of their comfort zone when they're tired, with lap traffic, with the track being rougher, that's a whole new experience. And Toth's a good rider. He's won a lot of XC2 races, but we'll see if he's got what it takes to hold it down the stretch as we approach the final hour of this high-voltage GNCC. It's going to be fun to watch, and this has been fun to watch. XC2, and you scouted it that we might have had a change there as Craig DeLong was looking to go into the lead around Johnny Gerard.
Oh, yeah. One thing, too, as you saw in the last shot, a lot of water's on the lens, so
I know.
I'm wondering how that's going to change the track and how the riders are going to have to change riding them.
Here's something I think interesting. I just stepped out of the booth for a couple moments. I got some specks of water on my glasses. Right now, it's a light sprinkle that's going on. What it's doing, it is like on the roadway and stuff, it's starting to darken things up and maybe settle that top 1/8 inch of dust or something there. So what you're getting is, and out in these hard packed sections.
Oh, there's smoke. Yep, there's smoke
from
Grant
Baylor. Yeah,
Grant Baylor. That's not good. Grant Baylor not having a good year. Sorry, Rodney.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely you're absolutely right. Very, very good point there. But what I was going to say is I don't think we're going to see a lot of the conditions as far as the dust being settled down because of this. But what it is going to do is create that hard pack surface to be very slick. Is kind of what I'm saying.
Gosh, you're gonna have a dust race with wet, slick stuff on the inside and dust on the outside. As we watch Andrew DeLong on the Phoenix Racing Honda come by. If you can grab the XC2 results for a moment there. We also, speaking of Phoenix Racing, just want to check in at Kyle Peters, who's actually the Arena Cross champion for 2020, the Kicker Arena Cross Series, and a top 5 Supercross guy in the East this year. So he was going to give GNCC a try.
22nd.
22nd in the class.
Yeah.
Been rough for the moto guys today.
Preston Campbell, that name's familiar, out of Marietta, California. Is he a moto guy?
Maybe. I mean, usually Marietta, California, that is, as we watch Mike Witkowski come by on the Yamaha. So not a good one for Peters as far as running up front, but certainly a good training run to get 3 hours of hard riding in. We've seen motocross guys come in and have great days. It has not been great for them today. Last I looked, I think Zach Osborne running in 20th overall. That's not terrible considering there's a couple hundred riders on the track, but certainly he wanted to go out there and at least be a top 10 runner, maybe even see what the leaders had.
That's my dad, so
Oh!
Surly Amancio.
Oh yeah, so I mean, at least my dad's getting on camera, I guess.
That's cool.
But one thing here, he's without goggles, so that's probably what the rain's doing. And there's Josh Toth too.
Your dad might affect this race here if he gets in Toth's way. Very interesting. Somebody slip him a 50 and tell him to get out of the way or pick his favorite guy.
My dad is a big fan of Josh Toth, so he's probably not going to hold him.
Okay.
But, like,
getting closer.
6 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
6 seconds.
Next lap is what we're going to see if the pass will be possible. Josh Toth just has to go smooth.
Oh, I have to think that we might be even closer than that, to be honest with you guys. Well, you might be right, as we're, about 2 minutes out from this lap being completed, lap number 5 that we're working on. So that gap, 12.8 seconds at the end of lap number 4, has been shaved down to just like 5 to 6 seconds now. So this one is certainly getting to be very interesting here on the on this 8th round of racing and heading into that third hour. -6, do work. That's what Russell's pit board is saying right now. So I'm sure that, Ryan, that's exactly what we're about to bear witness to, is the work. And recognizing that you talked about it just a few moments ago, heard you make the mention of it. It's the last 2 laps that are going to be the telltale sign of what's going on with Caleb Russell when he really starts to put the pressure on. And here we are approaching the final 2 laps
and
with
here we
5
are
seconds.
approaching to a battle for third. Josh Strang and Ben Kelly. Ben Kelly all over him. Look at this.
Kelly has reeled in Josh Strang to 114, and that gap is not getting any tighter between the 2nd and 3rd place position. So it is really tightening up between 3rd and 4th place right now, as Strang, who looked like he was on a ride for a solid podium position finish here today, now with a little more than 2 laps of racing left to go, has got a fight for that position coming out of the 530 of Ben Kelly. And you know as well as anybody, this is going to be a long battle right down. That 3rd place position is going to be very well deserved by whomever takes it.
Oh yeah, but there's Josh Toth and for checkers, I mean not checkers, sorry. So
2 lap board, I believe.
I'm pretty sure the board was not out, but one thing Caleb loves to do is stalk his prey.
It's out.
Know. Oh yeah, it's out. 2 laps to go. But one thing Caleb likes to do is stalk his prey, read the riders how they are and their language onto the bike, and capitalize on that and make an opening.
One of the advantages that Caleb has is that he does a lot of training with Josh Toth, and they get a chance to see each other ride. So this could work in the favor of your defending champ as he closes that gap and tries to mount that challenge. And one thing again to point out, what we've seen so far has been basic dominance by Josh Toth all day long since the waving of the green flag. The gap now down to 8 seconds. So we had 5 to 6 seconds out in the woods, but as they come through that last mile, another 3 seconds or so opening up. As we talked earlier about lap traffic, they are now into the heart of the lap traffic, so it's going to play a little bit more of a key factor, I think, in what we're going to be bearing witness to as far as this final lap of racing is concerned. We should be seeing our 3rd and 4th place riders checking in, and there they come. That is Josh Strang still, followed by the 530 of Ben Kelly as they make their way in here for the 2 lap board. Last time around, the 3rd place position of Strang was 49 seconds behind Caleb Russell. Lap time was 25:08 last time around for Josh Strang. This time around, 24:37 for Caleb Russell. Let's see if he was able to match that in any way, shape, or form. A 25:08 this time for Josh Strang, and a 24:55 for Ben Kelly. So we see that nearly a 15-second faster lap there has close that gap up between Strang and Kelly for the battle for the third place position, but things are not faring well as far as Strang capitalizing on anything of Russell's right now, as that gap has gone from 48 seconds to now nearly a minute and 20 at 1:19.2.
Oh yeah, and can you just imagine, Rodney, the KTM riders all up there, Caleb Russell, Josh Toth, and Ben Kelly all up on that top 3. That would be a really, really good. I'm trying to find that right word.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That would really show out the world really what KTM's doing right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. And you know, it'd be kind of like how they opened the race. Also, if you were looking at what I was seeing coming out of that first turn, they were elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, you could say, coming out of turn 1. And I believe it was Toth, Russell, and Strang. I think, well, maybe Dante Oliveira was in on that one as well. So there was like 4 maybe KTMs, but those 3 riders side by side, and just like you're saying, to see them like that.
Well, Johnny Girard is still in the lead by, I'm going to say, 15 to 20 seconds.
Well, as they check in, Jonathan Girard has checked in, and now Craig DeLong checks in 15.8 seconds. Very good calculations there, young man.
So Johnny, all he has to do is keep doing what he's doing and keep that pace up because Craig DeLong's really going to push hard on these last 2 laps trying to get Johnny, because obviously the Husqvarna team is telling him he's only like 15, 14 seconds behind.
Yeah, and you look at lap times right now. Actually, Jonathan Girard turned a 10-second faster lap than Craig DeLong did that last time around. And remember, they were only 5.8 seconds between each other when they checked in. They're 15.8 this time around. So not sure if maybe a pit stop, a little extra time with some goggles or something out there might have changed things, or as we've alluded to, and even earlier in the race, lap traffic.
For Grant, though.
Yep, Grant Baylor does it once again. Unfortunate incident for him, and I'm going to have to say that the dusty conditions might have a little bit to play with that. And that, look at that. Eric Surratt popping the radiator cap off of that one. So that one must be a cooling issue, and that does signal an indication of possibly this machine sucking up some dust out there. And I'm sure Grant's not the only one that's going to be victim of this today, and is not the only one victim of it. Maybe the first one that we've seen up here in the elite of the XC1 class, but this is something that we're going to see some more. So these guys are actually going to try to salvage this for him. They're going to do some coolant swap out into this one, obviously top that off. They're going to also, I think, change the air filter if they haven't already, and they're going to hope that that's going to be able to keep it cooler. So as Jason Wygant returns to the booth, Jason, what we just saw is Grant Baylor's bike. They've got it off to the side of the track. Looked like maybe might be breaking down again, but what they're doing is we saw Eric Surratt grab the radiator cap, pop it off, and a big poof of steam obviously coming out of it. They're reapplying some more coolant, so they're trying to top that back off, and I think maybe change that air filter and get it back in. So it looks like air filter, air issues, air quality issues has been the problem for him so far today. And like I said, this might not be the first of this that we're going to see today.
He is not going, though. So more smoke coming out. Damage probably already done there. He's going to go. See how long it lasts. All right, so you got to deal with dust and smoke.
Yeah, what a tough break there for Grant Baylor. Is this going to be a deja vu for him from a few rounds ago, or will he turn things around here today? And can Caleb bridge the gap, folks? We got less than 2 laps to go for win number 67 or not for Caleb Russell. Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
It's hard to put our adventures on hold, but now is the perfect time to prepare for their return. AMSOIL has your back with fast, free shipping, and ordering has never been easier. Just look up your vehicle, select your product, add an oil change to your cart, and check out. Spend $50 on AMSOIL products and shipping is on us. Order now at AMSOIL.com.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
When you crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, the podiums and personal records, it becomes part of you. The choice now is, do you become a wanderer or the wanderer? You just need to ride where you belong.
Inside every Yamaha lives the heart and soul of a competitor. The DNA of a champion. When you ride with us, it revs your heart and becomes a part of you too.
The 2006 Unadilla GNCC was the height of the Juha Salminen era, but this week in Yamaha history, things were about to change. Off to the early lead in the thick dark loam of upstate New York, Salminen seemed to be in control, but also saw early struggles. Jimmy Jarrett, an Ohio mud rider, was close in tow and seemed at home in the deep conditions. Also from Ohio on an Ampro Yamaha was a young Charlie Mullins. A fresh Paul Whibley early in his GNCC career tailed in fourth. Then Jarrett found his way into the lead. Juha Salminen was second and Mullins still in third. Lurking in the background was upstate New Yorker and Yamaha rider Nate Caney. Caney, who had bragged his talents in the harsh New York conditions, had taken his Yamaha to the lead by the end of lap number 2. Moving into second was fellow Yamaha rider Charlie Mullins, with Solomon falling to third. The Axeman chopped his way in fourth place as another young up-and-comer, Justin Williamson, piloted his YZ into fifth. Up front, Caney charged ahead, amassing a near 1-minute lead over the field, with Solomon moving back into second place and Mullins falling to third. As this day wore on, the conditions wore on the riders. The deep New York conditions, the mud, the rocks, the roots, they became the biggest obstacle on the racetrack, and the upstate New Yorker was able to handle every inch of every mile that was thrown at him that day. It was a historic day that day for Nate Caney, as not only did he take his first ever GNCC racing win, it would be the first of 2 for that season alone, and the first of 5 throughout his GNCC racing career. And that's this week in Yamaha history.
Oh, yes, one of the all-time. Did you guys time that? Because I was here. That is one of the all-time memorable GNCCs. Yep. Nate Caney was a privateer.
Yep.
A privateer. He was not on the factory Yamaha team. And he won that race. It was his home race.
But more importantly, he bragged that he could and he would win that race, and many more after that. But you know,
Nate was good for that.
He was good for that, no doubt about it.
He was never lacking in confidence, Nate Caney. And you know, you hear the riders say it all the time, like, you know, they got to break through mentally. That was his strength. Yep. He always believed when he went to the line that he could beat anybody, even as a privateer, even against Juha Salminen. And Rodney, if you remember, on the podium that day, Nate claimed that I had bet him if he ever won a race, I would.
There's Josh Toth still
as we
with
watch
the lead.
Josh Toth in the lead. Caleb Russell right there.
Oh, boy.
I got to wrap this one up. Nate said, hey, remember when you said if ever want to race, you'd shave your head into a mohawk? And I'm like, no, I don't remember saying that. And then his mom's like, come on, do it. This is a big deal. So they shaved my head into a mohawk.
I remember that.
On the podium that day at Loretta's. And then I was at the hotel this morning, and a couple of guys from New York, we were bench racing about that race this morning. And the guy's like, that was my bike that Nate was on, putting a privateer program together and beating Juha Salminen at Unadilla straight up. That's one of the all-times.
That's awesome.
We might have an all-timer today, man.
Yep.
Josh Toth still leading, but it's getting close.
It is getting very close. As we said, we saw Caleb Russell really closing that gap up Josh Toth. And this right here will be a good test for Toth. You know, we've seen that speed, that really quick sprint speed in the early part of that of the race, and I was wondering if maybe he wasn't sprinting too hard too early and maybe exerting a little bit too much energy. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, I don't think that he did. I think he's actually some stuff for the final lap. So with being out front, leading all day, being in the flow that he's in right now, you have to think, even with Caleb Russell closing in, there might be a little more left in the tank for Toth.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he went over the line. I feel like he was just riding his pace. And for whatever reason, it was a 40-second lead, 30-second lead. I got 8th, by the way, our producer is asking. But I'm in a very stacked class. Okay, yes, I got 8th in my class. I don't know how many people were in there. And the irony is that my son got 8th. Yeah, 8th out of 7, yes. And the irony is my son got 8th in his P-Dub class yesterday, but I know I had more guys in my class than him. So really, I beat him, Rodney.
Oh, my gosh.
Really, I beat him.
Really?
Kid's got to learn.
How old is your kid?
Kid's got to learn. He's 5. He's got to learn.
He's 5 years old.
We got problems, dude. He doesn't look at the darn green flag. He's blown this several times.
Look at this battle, though.
Ben Kelly's back, battling it out with Strang for 3rd. At least Ryan's paying attention to the actual racing.
Ryan.
Right now, yeah. Hey, I've seen worse. Don't worry. We had a Stasic race yesterday. My kid wasn't looking at the green flag there, and I had to start turning into Mean Dad. I mean, look. I don't have to teach all the riding techniques, but looking at the flag at the beginning of the race.
That's one of the most basic.
Yes, I would feel like that's very important.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so.
All right, back to the race.
Yes, so we got 2 battles to watch. Ben Kelly has caught. Rodney's loving this.
Oh, wow.
Ben Kelly has caught Josh Strang again.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
I can say I taught him everything he knows, too, now.
I know. You're going like 4 generations now, Rodney, teaching these kids. So
you guys are just talent, man.
So we got Ben Kelly and Strang battling for 3rd, and Caleb Russell, the
and
shark. Yeah,
your dad's falling off to 6th place, by the way, Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, let's go, Dad.
All right. So, I don't know. You think he's still in the lead lap, or do you think they got him?
No, they got him.
They got him.
Yeah, they got him at the checkers. Caleb Russell went by him.
I want to see if he could wick it up and just.
Oh yeah,
just
hold
just
catch them off. Yeah, just catch them.
Ashburn going.
Ashburn's been good second half of this race. He's really stepped up the pace and has benefited. Also, he was in a battle with Baylor. Grant Baylor had the bike problems, so that helped him out.
That is Johnny Gerard. Wow, look at him.
Man.
Ooh, is that back to the lead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Back to the lead.
Did I just hear thunder off in the distance?
Yeah, that was thunder. I heard that. So,
oh, boy. What else can we throw at the riders today?
Craig DeLong looking for him.
Yeah, there's Craig DeLong. Rockstar Husqvarna. That is 2nd in XC2.
By the way, rain had stopped, but it's starting back again, and it's starting a little heavier.
Yeah.
30 minutes ago.
There's my dad. Well, my dad's still up there, so good job, Dad.
Hey, man, he's past the 2-hour mark. He still looked pretty good there, so I'll give credit. Just everyone in at home, so you know it's going to be a 7-lap race. That we confirm that now?
Yes.
Yeah, we're 5 laps in. We get as close to 3 hours as we can. Try not to go too far over, too far under. So 7 laps, that gives you an idea. And we're at the 5-mile mark of what's about a 10-mile track. So we're looking at a lap and a half to go. We're into that final 2 laps. Toth continues to lead. Pressure going to be applied. And we saw, by the way, when Strang was able to beat Caleb Russell earlier this year, the level that Russell is willing to go to make passes in the last lap, he wadded it up big time and ended up in some fencing. So he's going to make it as hard as he can on his young teammate to try to hold on and win this one. That is going to be fun to watch. Here's one of the Yamahas coming through.
One rider that's on fire right now is Mikey. He is 3rd in XC2. I'm pretty sure he closed the gap a lot before, but then I think they opened back the gap. But he got to a point where he was only about 15 seconds off Craig. So I think Craig put the pace back on again.
Yeah, 52.9, call it 53 seconds separating the 3rd and 2nd place positions now in the 250 Pro class. And we were looking at 16 seconds between Johnny G and Craig DeLong whenever they checked back in there a few moments ago. If you remember, they were
5.8. Now they're 15.8. So be interesting to see what the rest of this race is going to bring. We saw Craig going there a few moments ago. Though he was still going at a good pace, he didn't really seem to be riding at a sense of urgency at this particular
But one rider that is Josh Toth, and new leader, so Caleb Russell made the pass.
It happened.
Well, that was a good effort for Josh Toth. Led the whole race, and then at the 2 hour 19 minutes in, Caleb Russell made the pass. All
right, we're going to watch this closely. There's Russell on the number 1. You see Toth not too far back there. Now you know Caleb's going to put down an absolute sprint to try to break his teammate and just pull away and make it easy on himself. So this is the critical juncture. As we said, you get within 2 laps to go, and that's where the experience really plays in. And guys like Caleb Russell, who've been in this battle a million times those last 2 laps, he's got the experience. So Toth is going to learn here. The question is, how quickly can he learn it? Can he up the pace? And how much energy does he have left after leading, as you said, Ryan, 2 hours and 19 minutes?
So, great effort by Josh Toth, though. Got the whole shot, led more than half of the race. So, if I were Josh Toth, I would be happy for, at least being in front of that number 1.
Great building blocks. Great building blocks for great building blocks for him and Josh Toth. And very good point to point out here. Not saying or taking anything away from any of the other riders' wins that have beaten Caleb as of recently, but traditionally, or what we've seen, is Caleb maybe have some issues or a problem that may have put him in that position. Today, Caleb hasn't had any issues. This has been an all-out.
Took 5 laps.
Honestly, this has been an all-out ride by Josh Toth. I mean, nothing's been given to him. There's been no mistakes. He took it right from the beginning, and it's a matter of right now of Caleb's to obviously take back and now keep, because Josh has got the throttle pin back on it, and I don't think he's going to let up on that easily.
I'm not giving up on it. Building blocks. Building schmilding. Let's go for the win here, Josh Toth. Let's see what he can do. That would be big if he leads laps and gets second, puts it up on the podium, absolutely. But this would be awesome if he could go out there and get this victory. And the longer he can even stay with him, and again, see what that late race pace is all about.
Yes.
He's going to benefit from that. So hopefully he can stay there.
Rodney,
here for him. Go ahead, Mikey.
Couple things. One of the things you and I talked about pre-race was that race IQ that we're seeing play out right now in Caleb Russell. Just wanted to throw that in there. The other thing that Weege was talking about is if you're Toth throughout the race, you're constantly thinking in your head, yes, I have the lead. Yes, this is awesome. Where's Caleb? Where's Caleb? He's behind me somewhere. So that just plays into Caleb even more. He's not hitting the panic button all 3 hours. He knows what he has to do to get out front.
Well, another thing too, Josh Strang has opened up the gap between Ben Kelly. I don't see Ben. Oh, there he is.
There he is. He got held up a little bit, Strang, in that one corner, but yeah, it is a bigger gap, Ryan, than it was the last time we saw them. So Kelly makes a few runs at it, and then can't quite get there. And I know you're probably watching saying, well, it's the dust, bro. We can't get him. But again, I don't think the dust is as bad as it looks. Once you're in the woods, you can make those moves. But Strang's been tough on it today.
So I know that Josh and Caleb do a lot of riding and training and stuff together and things of that nature, from what I understand. Does this benefit both these riders in this circumstance and situation, you think, Jason?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if anyone's looking at the results this year, they're saying, oh, man, Caleb Russell's won all but one race, threatening a perfect season. He is just rolling these guys. But it has not been like that if you watch the races, and that's considering that Thad Duval, his primary rival for most of these wins, isn't here this year. He's out injured with a torn ACL. These have been battles, man.
Yes.
And different guys sometimes. We saw Stu Baylor early in the year, Strang getting better and better. Now today with Toth, Ben Kelly was strong in his first race back. Ricky Russell putting it to before that injury. I mean, he might have won that race before he got hurt. So it has not been what the record book looks like. We might be seeing what has finally happened. Caleb's got a lot of miles on the odometer, and he's saying that he's probably done racing full-time GNCC after this. It's like the last thing that he's got. He's got the experience. These guys are able to go his pace. Maybe they're as in good a shape. They got their bikes set up. But he's got the experience to just always figure out a way to get it done, because they have challenged him over and over, but he's won all but one race.
Well, I don't want to alert anyone, because I didn't see John Gerard go by. I'm not sure if any of you guys saw it, but I did not
either.
So
No, we've seen it go back and forth between him and Craig DeLong, who's on a Husqvarna, and also the Yamaha rider, Mikey Witowski, also in the mix. So this will be interesting how XC2 breaks down. We had a lot of hype today with Zach Osborne coming in, just giving an update at home. He was running around 20th overall, started dead last, so not what we were hoping to see with Osborne maybe running up front for a little while with some fireworks. Certainly learning a lot out here. Hasn't raced a GNCC in 6 years. What do you got, Ronnie? 23rd?
23rd, yep.
23rd for Zacho. So he did start last. That didn't help, but he hasn't made up much ground as the race has gone on. We're into the Monster Energy Mile.
And Caleb Russell opened the gap. So I don't see Josh. I think that was him.
Yeah, Caleb even looking over a little bit. He's trying to break him right now, trying to open it up to the point where it just makes it easy on him later in the race. So let's see what Toth can do.
If I were Josh Toth, I would basically give it all I got, stay with that number one, learn what he does, and try to take his line, because Caleb Russell has some lines up his sleeve, and he waits till like final lap to hit him, and if he's leading, he just opens the gap, and if he's not leading, he's probably taking that and getting some seconds off any corner he could.
Yeah, he's usually got the backup plan on that last lap that he doesn't use until the end. A couple other lines. He said he had one up his sleeve when Strang was able to beat him earlier this season, but he crashed before he got there. So it just goes back to what Mikey was saying with the update in the pits. Even when you're leading him on the last lap, you're worried that he's got lines picked out or something.
Right, and they oftentimes do, and likely they do every race. I mean, I think that's one of the things that these seasoned riders especially probably pay the most attention to.
Look at Jared Bolton.
During
their
track walks is that last mile or so of racetrack. That's where they start looking for those last-ditch efforts to make those passes.
It's made for some exciting racing this year. Like I said, a lot more exciting than the results would indicate. We'll see if we're in for another one today, because the white flag is going to be out pretty soon here. We want to keep tabs on this XC2 battle.
And one thing, too, is this track is shorter than any other one, I'm pretty sure. I think this is the shortest track this year. 9.9, I'm pretty sure. 9.8, around there.
It's under 10 miles, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And most GNCCs are 11, 12 miles. And look at this. Ben Kelly all over him again.
And that's a big gap between Strang. I think Strang lost some time because he was a lot closer.
Hey, just got a report. It looks like that maybe Grant Baylor is out now.
Okay.
Yeah.
White flag should be out for Caleb Russell. Oh, Josh Toth still going for it, digging hard.
I'm telling you, this one's not over. This may be the first lap he hasn't led yet, but as he finishes this one up, only 3.4 seconds behind Caleb Russell. We've got I think a real barn burner, and it might be a good thing that it is starting to rain, because these woods would be set ablaze by these guys going through here. I think we're looking at Mach speed here in just a few moments.
Oh, look at this. I think Josh Toth has closed up the gap a bit.
It's Mach speed, like you said, Roddy. That's twice we saw him lose the back end. He is pushing with everything he has.
Oh, Josh almost messed up the corner.
Yeah, he's pushing so hard to try to stay with him, but that's what you like to see. So this is a battle of wills now. Caleb trying to sprint away and just break him. Toth trying to show that you can't do it. And who will be the strong rider down the stretch? Into the final lap we go.
And one class we haven't talked about as much is the XC3. Can you check that for us, Ronnie?
I can do that, young man. Hang on. That's a very good point. It has been a while since we looked at that one. Last time we looked at it, it was
Nate Federer was still leading.
Yeah, Nate, after 5 laps there, he's got only an 8-second lead over Zach Hayes, who has only a 3.3-second lead over Mike DeLosa, who was 4th. Jake Froman is another 5 seconds back. So get this, guys. The FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am class, Federer, Hayes, DeLosa, and Froman. You add this up, we're going to call that 11 and a half. 17 seconds separate the top 4 riders.
So any mistake?
Yes.
Really?
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
And one thing too, Nathan Federer riding on a beta this week. I'm pretty sure he's going to be riding for beta. They said if he does good, they're probably going to keep him. So this is his second time on the bike, and he is winning the class. So I think that bait is working good for him.
I think so.
I think they might keep him.
Yeah. Further are actually out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, another one of those Midwesterners making their way out here to the GNCC.
And there's our 3rd and 4th overall. Strang on the green Kawasaki. The orange KTM you're watching right now is Ben Kelly. They're really close.
Any mistake could cost it.
Yep, and that's a battle for the podium. So, there's some real motivation. And, boy, we could be looking at an FMF KTM sweep of the podium here, with Toth having a great day. Caleb Russell leading. It's up to Strang to try to stop that from happening, and it's going to be good to watch on this last lap. Strang and Kelly wheel to wheel.
Ben Kelly, as you can look, his front number plate and his handguards are full. You can't see nothing of Josh Strang's roost. So you can tell Ben Kelly has been eating his dust. But Ben Kelly's all over him.
I noticed the same thing about Josh Toth's bike, too. He's also his front number plate. I know he had the whole shot and had a clear plate, but in this last lap, he's really eating a lot of roost himself, and his machine's starting to get a little bit covered up as well. So interesting point there that you bring to light.
Okay, so 2 battles to watch. Battle, of course, for the win. Battle for 3rd. You see Jordan Ashburn pretty much in no man's land right there. He has survived some deep battles.
There's Gerard.
Look at that. You can see how slick that is.
So we did not lose Gerard on that one. So here's will be a good opportunity for us to see what that gap is starting to look like between he and DeLong. 5.8 seconds 2 laps ago. 1 lap ago, 15.8 seconds between those 2 riders. And right now, Craig DeLong checks in 11.7 seconds back. So
Craig DeLong closed the gap a bit.
Yeah,
4 seconds.
Yeah, so closing it up just a little bit.
Look at their
they're
team.
running 5th and 6th
overall.
overall.
No, goggle change. That's not going to be good.
No, they got to be so fast with this right now because we know that the XC2 lead. Wow, they did it. Beautifully done for the Trail Jesters KTM team with Johnny Gerard.
Yeah.
And look at Craig DeLong. Craig DeLong has him in his sights, so that is a problem for Johnny Gerard.
Yep, and so that right there. And look, you can see, like we say, blood in the water. He smells the blood in the water. You can see a little bit of aggression being applied by Craig DeLong right now as he sees the possibility of making the pass into the first place position of the XC2 class.
And the thing is this, too. Craig DeLong sees Johnny Gerard in his sights, so this is going to give him that motivation he needs if he wants to win.
Well, here we are heading into the final and closing moments of this first 8 rounds of the 2020 GNCC season. A miracle we made it this far, and I'll tell you what, we've seen some pretty great racing along the way, and we've still got more to come. Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track, and we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
It's hard to put our adventures on hold, but now is the perfect time to prepare for their return. Amsoil has your back with fast, free shipping, and ordering has never been easier. Just look up your vehicle, select your product, add an oil change to your cart, and check out. Spend $50 on Amsoil products, and shipping is on us. Order now at amsoil.com.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Chematic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Chematic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Chematic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment. Whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts depend on Chematic. Chematic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
The Yamaha GNCC University returns, calling all ATV and motorcycle off-road racers. Are you looking to hone your riding and racing skills? Want to learn hands-on with the best of the best past and current GNCC racers and champions? Then sign up for the 2020 Yamaha GNCC University, returning to Snowshoe Mountain Resort September 23rd through the 25th. We're bringing together Yamaha's ATV and motorcycle racing elites to instruct in-depth courses on fundamentals of racing and riding. During the Yamaha GNCC University, students will participate in lectures about sportsmanship, training, proper nutrition, and mental preparation, along with hands-on skills and drills designed to improve your riding and confidence in a variety of terrain and situations. Reservations are on a first-come, first-served basis with limited openings, evenly split between the disciplines. For more details and to register, call Snowshoe Mountain Resort at 877-441-4386. We look forward to seeing you at the top of Snowshoe Mountain, then on top of the podium.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lee, the director of OnTrack School. How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at OnTrack School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out OnTrack School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
I'm Zach Osborne. We're here at the High Voltage GNCC, and yeah, this opportunity was basically afforded to me by the coronavirus crisis, because otherwise we'd be racing pro motocross right now. So for me, it's just a way to continue racing and keep sharp. You know, I think there's not a lot of expectation from me. Everyone supports me, and it was a pretty easy decision. So I'm just looking forward to going racing and having some fun. Well, for me, it's just a little bit of a way to keep racing. It was a decision by me and the team. Everyone's pretty mutual on it. It's good exposure for the brand, also for my brand, and just to be in front of some new faces. Yeah, so I rode in the woods one day before we came here last Thursday, and I felt pretty good on the bike. It's a setup that I've never ridden before, obviously, with the big tank and full off-road suspension. So it's going to be a little bit me getting used to the bike in the beginning and then seeing how I feel down the stretch. I think I can go the distance, but it's also going to be a game of conserving everything: bike, body, hands, everything. So it's a little bit of a different game, obviously, than just going racing motocross. So the expectations aren't super high. I would be super pumped if I get in the top 5 and I'm in the battle today. So this environment for me is super laid back. It's very, it feels like a big family event. You know, it's a bunch of dudes that like to ride dirt bikes in a field in the middle of West Virginia. So it's a completely different feel than Supercross and motocross, where it's very corporate, if you will, and very serious for me, obviously. So it's just a really fun event and a completely different perspective at racing motorcycles.
Well, welcome back at GNCC Live, as we heard from Zach Osborne talking about his ride here today, coming in, what prompted that and all, and of course, good things. I mean, I really like the angle that he took on that. You know, they're talking about his perspective of what, you know, way a family event, and you know, he couldn't hit the nail on the head any better than that, because that's exactly what this is a family event. I mean, here we got Ryan Amancio, our Fast Brats, helping us out in the absence of Johnny Gallagher today, and of course he's here racing. His dad's here racing, and, you know, I mean, we're watching his dad on the TV right now.
That's right.
I mean, it is a family affair. And, you know, we talked about the amateurs. You know, 95% of the riders on the racetrack during the weekend are amateur riders. Only 5% are pros. So, you know, this is a very family-oriented sport.
Yeah, and that's Zach's game as well. He brings the wife and kids to pretty much every single race. I think this weekend, they threw this together pretty quick, so that didn't happen here. But they're at a lot of the Supercross races, most of the motocross races, especially in summertime. So he gets it, and it's only a matter of time. I don't know how many years it'll be, but he'll be racing his series at some point. Might be 40 by the time he finally gets here. His results are getting better. As far as Zach today, a bit of a struggle outside the top 20 for most of the day. The battle has been between Josh Toth and Caleb Russell. Toth had the lead for the first 5 laps, and then with about a half of a lap ago, Russell got a. Now we're into the final lap.
One person I don't see is Ben Kelly.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Looks like Josh shook him off.
Yeah, Josh looks a little more relaxed at this point anyway.
That's Strang, their third. There's Kelly. So he's still in striking distance, but not as close as he was when they took the white flag. Time running out.
Now, what mile markers is this? I'm pretty sure this is like the 5th. I'm not sure. Yeah.
And, wow, ask and you shall receive. You are a magician
All
there.
right, thank you, the producers.
Yes, good job. So it's 5 miles of what's basically a 10-mile track. So halfway home for Toth to try to hope for something to go wrong for Caleb Russell, and for Ben Kelly to try to get Josh Strang and make it a KTM sweep of the podium. You know, Kawasaki doesn't want that. It's pretty cool. Kawasaki actually introduced some new off-road race bikes about a week ago.
Yep.
And they said how big that win about a month ago for Josh Strang and GNCC was. That was their first win in a little over 10 years. So that was huge for them. Really establishing themselves also in a bunch of the West Coast off-road series. There's Jordan Ashburn, the other Kawasaki rider.
He looks like he's trying to make up some time,
yeah, man.
too.
Okay, no, that's not good.
So that's Kawasaki with off-road. They're calling them XC250EF and 450 bikes for 2021. They'll be out pretty shortly.
There's Johnny Gerard.
Leading XC2.
Yep.
Craig DeLong doesn't look like anywhere inside. Oh, so
folks, you know, while we were at break, something that we haven't relayed to the rest of the world is that there was reports of Caleb Russell's machine pumping steam, pumping smoke, something coming out of that bike. So we'll go back to a specialized rapid replay. Now, as we look at this, it goes through is that a water section? Maybe some water down there?
No, but it's coming out of the pike like
yeah, and before he got there, yeah.
Yeah,
so I see what you're saying now.
Oh boy,
yeah.
that's not good.
So, what kind of story will that tell?
Clock's ticking now. Will it get to the line? Good news for him. This is the final lap, and only 3 miles to go.
I think even if it wasn't final lap, I think Russell would finish because he's more smart about it. He knows what's going on, so he's kind of trying to push and rest same time.
There's Zach Osborne.
Oh, and
another
he
pit
just
stop.
Pit.
All right, long day at the office for Zach. Going to do the full 3 hours. that gives you an idea of the gap. They're halfway or more than halfway to the final lap, and he's just getting through.
But, you know, I hats off to him. He's holding on to a solid top 25 overall. It's outside the top 20 where he wanted to be, but for somebody just coming off of a Supercross win there just a couple of weeks ago and getting to practice one day in the woods, hey, my hat's off to Zach. A very solid performance out there for him, and hope to get to see him back here again in the future. And like you said, I'm sure he'll...
Matter of time, bro.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time. You will get more Zach Osborne at GNCC, I can guarantee it. Yeah, this is definitely not, I'm sure, the way he wanted it to go. You know, and at least I've seen the leaders a little bit.
Is that Josh Toth?
Is that Toth? I think right there. Toth's got a little bit more rated the gear, so there it is.
There's that smoke.
Yeah, and we see, is that Caleb looking down at the...
Caleb's not even charging, and it's over.
Yeah.
And Josh Toth made the pass.
So now...
The outside. Look at the change of events.
Unbelievable. So Caleb Russell, the bike coughs up the lead, and Josh Toth has the break he needed. And what did I say? The teams, the riders often tell you need to have it happen almost on accident the first time, and it looks like that might be the case.
Here's something very critical from this point on. Caleb Russell right now, the machine still underpowered, still running, and what he needs to do is nurse and baby this thing all the way to the finish line to at least try to salvage at least second place position
look
points,
at Josh Toth
or even third place
well.
points, even if Strang or Ben Kelly come up. The one thing that you got to realize is that it's not a matter of what position he finishes right now, as long as that bike will finish. He should be able to keep a solid top 5 finish. And I know the points lead and the points gap is pretty wide right now, but at the same time, we still got about 4 more rounds of racing to go, and anybody knows anything can happen.
Dude, he's looking down at the bike, and the bad news for him is that Strang, who is second in points, would be the next rider to catch him. Strang wouldn't win today, but he'd almost maximize his point score, getting a second if he can get Russell. If Russell doesn't finish in the top 20 overall, that's where you get your championship points.
Now here, I'll tell you something about the points right now. If you look at it, 205 to 172, that'd be 33 points. So Russell's got to score points here in order to keep Josh Strang from really closing up some gap. Now, like I said, there's still 4 rounds to go, but who knows what could happen in those final 4 rounds after this summer break. So
I believe
right now,
it's a 25-point difference, I think, between a second and not scoring points.
Right.
I believe it's 25 points per second.
It goes 30-25, yes.
Right, so let's say Russell's bike doesn't get to the finish. Strang inherits second. He takes 25 points out of, what'd you say, it was a 37-point lead or something along those lines?
Yep.
And now you got the whole summer break to sit there sweating on it. So this is critical right here of the highest magnitude. If Caleb Russell could just nurse this bike through.
33 points, yeah.
33, so he would be down to 8 points.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is very critical that Caleb get this bike to the finish line right now. So he is doing exactly what he needs to be doing right now.
Shortcutting it.
Staying out of the dust, I'm sure. And just number one, getting to the finish line.
Yeah, he's cutting every corner as tight as he can. That's not the preferred race line, but I'm sure he's just thinking less distance is less wear on the bike.
Yeah, the less stress he can put on the bike, the farther it's going to go, obviously. And you better bet, even if that bike fails, I believe that Caleb Russell is going to start pushing that motorcycle.
Hey, it is a downhill to the finish line. Imagine if it came to that.
Hey, it's not wouldn't be the first time. I seen David Knight do it not far from here at Mountain Ridge GNCC when he was here, I believe, in 2008.
Like a long distance.
Yeah, several miles. So right now, folks, here we go. Joined saying hello to Stu Baylor. He says, I got to come over and check this out right now.
Can't get enough.
As we wait to see him watch to see whether or not, number one, is Caleb Russell going to be passed? And number one, is he going to be able to finish? And number two, will he be passed? And what kind of points can we see being made up here as this race day progresses? Look at that. Ben Kelly still back there in the hunt from that 4th place position. So he's in the thick of things. He's looking at the possibility of a podium today, all hinging on what takes place with Caleb Russell right now. Stu Baylor, this right here, man, this is some big news, especially when you're looking at those championship points.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the KTM guys are out there giving him pit boards, save the bike, be smart, and sometimes not blowing up the silt berms in conditions like this might be just as fast. I know he just had the edge the last time I saw him. I sprinted over here so I could see what you guys had on the TV to see if he was going to make it or not.
Well, that's what we're waiting to see, whether or not he will make it now. This is only the 7-mile marker, so we still got a couple miles to go, a little less than that, a few miles to go as Jordan Ashburn checks in. He is, again, back in 7th place on overall adjusted time right now, but Looking at the gap, he's only about 3 or 4 minutes behind Caleb Russell right now. So Caleb's maybe a mile ahead. So he's about the 8-mile marker. Here we are at the 9. And our leader should be coming through here in just a moment. Again, Josh Toth on his way home to the win here at the high voltage GNCC. And what a well-deserved win, leading most of the race today and getting past there with the 2-lap board to go, and then the circumstance and chance working out in his favor.
Chance and destiny working out in his favor. All right, Rodney?
My kids are here, right?
Yeah, there we go. Stu. Man, you probably were praying that this would happen about 100 times. Jeez,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, I found myself in that position a few times.
Yeah. So it looks like it'll work out for Toth. So that's our question, as Stu Baylor was illustrating for us. How many points can Caleb salvage? It is a downhill to the finish line. If he can get out of the woods for the last time.
Yeah, it's not far from the finish, and you know, Caleb's smart. He's been in this position before. We saw him do it last year at another dusty round like this, and I think, you know, for Caleb, he was just in a bad position for most of the race. He was right there eating the dust all day, and you know, it's hammering those filters whenever you're right on somebody's back tire like he was, you know, kind of stalking Toth 20 seconds back, and you know, I've been out there, and 20 seconds. It looks like we've got Toth checking in.
Yep.
Is that him? Nope. But yeah, you know, when you're out there, 20 seconds does not give enough time to let that dust settle. Obviously, this section's a little more clear than the rest of them have been, and there he is now. You see, he's just nailing his lines, and he knows what he's got to do. And you know, Toth is absolutely killing it right now. I'm sure this is all he's been dreaming of since he was a little kid. We all do,
yeah.
and he's taking it home right now.
Wow, looking over his shoulder, don't see probably much of anything or anybody behind him at this point, but a whole lot of breeze flapping back there. Caleb's still rolling, though, and he's still rolling pretty good, all things considered. Not seeing a whole lot of steam coming out of that, so you may be right. They called him off quick enough that he's going to be able to nurse this one, it looks like, to the rest of the way home. So what the possibility was may not be the likelihood so much of Caleb losing points, but it's still, he's not crossed the finish line yet.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've ridden a KTM a long time, and usually when they start puffing, you've got another hour in it. So I know he's got the time, and he's just being smart. When you feel that bike start getting tight, you can just ride it smooth. You know what to do. Shift up a gear, nail your lines, get out of the silt. And Caleb's smart. I mean, he's done this so many times. I think he's definitely going to make it to the finish line. Like I said, you know, usually you see a bike kind of set in, and 3 laps later, that's when they usually go, and his just started puffing a little bit of smoke on the last lap. So I think he's good. I think it's smooth sailing from here at the 9 mile. I believe this track's right at 10 miles, so they should be here any second, and he's going to take it home and keep those points, and that's exactly what he needs.
According to timing and scoring, they should be checking in at the finish line any moment right now as we continue to watch this monster mile. Here comes Josh Strang. Looks like that gap is still way too big to bridge between he and second place, and Caleb is going to get the big break here and be able to finish this. But the big question is, will Ben Kelly get around Josh Strang for that 3rd place position? Will we still see the KTM sweep? We saw him coming out of that first turn, shoulder to shoulder, 3 KTMs wide, and that would be an interesting scenario to see him finish up like that today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw Ben's been right there all day just eating that dust, and from talking to Grant, I saw him out on the track, and he said this track was just really difficult to pass.
Well, here we go. Down that final downhill section goes your leader, the number 206 of Josh Toth.
Caleb here. What's up
and
with
Caleb
this?
Russell making his way in now. On board the number 1, Toth already in, and Josh Toth takes the win here at the high.
Wait, no, I don't think he did, Rodney.
Wait.
I'm confused. I didn't see Toth. I did not see Toth.
No, he came in second right there. Wow.
Wow, what just happened? I thought I seen Ricky Towery waving the flag. He was just waiting on Caleb Russell to check in, so Caleb Russell does it. He's able to pull this one off. Josh Toth dropping back to the number 2 spot. This will be an interesting question to ask and see what did happen to Josh Toth. I mean, there had to be something really off the wall happen because he had that one virtually in the bag. He was feet away from the finish line. when we last saw him with more than a comfortable enough lead to take the checkers there.
I can't say I've been in that position.
No, not at all. No, never had it. Never had it wrapped up.
I think I remember somebody doing that with 2 turns left to go in the season, as a matter of fact. So what is Josh?
Well, let's watch the body language here. That's Caleb Russell. He's still frustrated, I think, because I'm sure he was mad that he had his sure win slip out of his hands, and then somehow he got it. Yeah, you've got to wonder, did Toth let his guard down there, or was it just a big crash that just happened randomly? This is so crazy to have seen Caleb Russell. We thought that finish line would allow him to just coast in to finish the race. Not in first.
Wow. So congratulations. It's win number 67 for Caleb Russell as he makes his way back, frustrated and rightfully so, back to his motorhome and to get cleaned up for the ride home here in just a little bit. But wow, what a day. Things turning around for him. But how about it for Josh Toth, man? I mean, he led the biggest part of this race today, and within feet of the checker flag, not unlike Stu Baylor here, it goes away. I mean, you have to know that there's so much frustration that's going on through there. I know Mikey Waynes is going to be talking with these guys here in just a few moments, but you talked about body language there just a moment ago, Jason. You can read the body language there. It's just total disappointment for the 206.
We didn't see any smoke coming from that bike. I don't know if it's mechanical right there at the end. Obviously, you could tangle with a lap rider. That could do some damage. We were never able to really see how big a gap. He passed him so quickly, and Caleb kind of threw up the "I give up, you can have it." The last time we saw them in that Monster Mile, the gap wasn't huge.
No, it's maybe 10 seconds with that.
There's Strang going to take third today. Boy, this went from a potentially game-changing scenario. We thought maybe Caleb wouldn't finish, and Strang makes up a ton of points. He ends up with a podium finish, but loses a little more ground in the championship. Good job holding up Ben Kelly, who was on him all day, but not what we expected twice.
We're all sitting here with our mouths just kind of dropped open. I mean, everybody in amazement and wonder right now, and at a loss for words. I mean, you know, not that we don't want to hype it up or anything, but wow, what did we just witness right there? I tell you what, let's take a couple moments to sort it all out. We'll be back with podium interviews and the rest of the story when we return for the closing moments of this high-voltage GNCC.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track, and we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
The Yamaha GNCC University returns, calling all ATV and motorcycle off-road racers. Are you looking to hone your riding and racing skills? Want to learn hands-on with the best of the best past and current GNCC racers and champions? Then sign up for the 2020 Yamaha GNCC University, returning to Snowshoe Mountain Resort September 23rd through the 25th. We're bringing together Yamaha's ATV and motorcycle racing elites to instruct in-depth courses on fundamentals of racing and riding. During the Yamaha GNCC University, students will participate in lectures about sportsmanship, training, proper nutrition, and mental preparation, along with hands-on skills and drills designed to improve your riding and confidence in a variety of terrain and situations. Reservations are on a first-come, first-served basis with limited openings, evenly split between the disciplines. For more details and to register, call Snowshoe Mountain Resort at 877-441-4386. We look forward to seeing you at the top of Snowshoe Mountain, then on top of the podium.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lieb, the director of OnTrack School. How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at OnTrack School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out OnTrack School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from Maysville, West Virginia for the High Voltage GNCC. Rodney Tomlin, Jason Wygant, and, of course, Ryan Amancio and Mikey Big Boy Waynes. And, of course, Mikey going to be talking with these guys here in just a few moments. But here's the closing moments of this race today. We saw Josh Toth regaining the lead around Caleb Russell after some puffs of smoke. The last check we saw at the 9-mile marker, it was Toth in the lead. And shortly following that, Caleb Russell coming out, and you can sense something. You can sense some kind of an issue with Caleb Russell. I don't know whether he's just frustrated with his machine or what the case may be, but that, my friends, certainly an interesting display of body language, I think, and frustration as Caleb takes the win. Look, we were watching that again. I was going to say, you could just see when he crossed the finish line, even the first place. I've never seen anyone cross the finish line frustrated like that.
Well, if anyone would, it would be Caleb Russell.
That makes sense.
When he has, he was a high point that he came back and won. Strang got him.
Yeah.
Then he won a high point, and he was still super mad because he got held up by a lot of lappers, and he wasn't pumped on the way he rode that day, and he won, and he was still angry. So if anyone would win a race and still be so competitive that he's not happy about it, it would be him. But this is extreme circumstances. It's very odd how this all worked out in the end, and we don't know, or we weren't able to see why. Maybe they'll talk about it.
Maybe they'll talk about it. So, guys, I think Mikey Wayne's waiting on you down there.
Here's the body language of Caleb Russell. This is not what you see from a guy who wins races.
No, not at all. So, and you can see him. He just walked. He just parked the bike, walked straight away to get cleaned up. Hopefully, we'll be seeing him have a little fist bump there. You know, that's a true champ right there.
All right.
Little fist bump to the spectator there. He goes back to his. Visibly frustrated, agitated about something. Don't know necessarily what it is. But, again, here, we'll get the rest of the story here in just a few moments with Mikey Wayne. So, Caleb, if you can make your way down. Also, Josh. And Josh, we'll get a chance to talk to those guys. I imagine we'll probably be talking to Josh Strang here. He's going to be pretty excited, probably frustrated that he wasn't up there in the mix of that battle. But, man, he had a really good race back there in the third place. And that's one thing that probably we should go back and focus a little bit on, too, is some of these other great battles that we had out here on this race course, not only through the XC1, but also back in the XC2. And, I got to wonder how this one's going to finish up. It looks like Jonathan Garrar ends up taking the win by 30 seconds over Craig DeLong. So, Craig, maybe he was in one of those salvage modes himself there in that last hour of the race, because if you remember, that's when we started seeing him not put the pressure on as much. So maybe Craig was sensing some issues with his machine today. Mike Witkowski, 2 minutes and 40 seconds back, but a solid third-place position, right? Some good championship points as we work towards that here in the 2020 season. Thorne Devlin looks like he's going to hold on for fourth in the XC2 250 Pro class. Jonathan Johnson, the 981 Phoenix Racing Honda rider, in fifth. Ryder Lafferty drops to sixth. He finishes there with 7 laps. So we're waiting on Liam Draper, Cody Barnes, Ben Parsons, and the Pennsylvania motocrosser Ben Nelko, who grabbed the early lead on this one with the whole shot and led the first lap and a half of it as well.
Wow, high drama here today at the High Voltage, and it leads us into the summer break for GNCC. We'll have a really nice run of races in September when we come back. No one.
Poor Mikey Wayne's all by himself down there at the winner's circle just waiting. I imagine if someone can grab Josh Strang, hand him on over, we'll get a word in with Josh Strang, I'm sure, here pretty soon. Pretty quickly, and try to get Josh Toth and Caleb over there as well. But again, strange turn of events, strange day. The day, weather-wise, even that. I mean, we come into this, it's dry, hot, dusty. Then it cools down, clouds up. We get a little bit of rain. Not enough, but maybe more than we needed, more than we could have used under the circumstances. Obviously. Dust was an issue for some of these bikes. We saw Grant Baylor. We lost him out on that when we saw Caleb Russell's bike being affected by it as well. And I would have to assume and think that there were a lot more of those machines that were under duress because of the breathing situations with the dust and silt out there. I saw several guys pushing their bikes by the broadcast tent here throughout the course of the race, especially that last hour. There were a lot of guys that were pushing.
Yeah, the dust berms, like I said, I don't know how bad the vision was. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't like you couldn't see. It wasn't like riding blind, but it has a huge effect on the bikes, obviously, when the outside of nearly every corner is a giant silt berm. That's where you're going to go, of course. That's the berm. Get on the gas, sucks the air right in. And there are probably some riders that even avoid it or try their best to nurse the bikes to the line. We'll give credit to Caleb at least for that. He did get the bike to the finish line.
Yep, that's for sure.
But just odd how it turned out at the end, because that looked like a sure win for Toth. And as I said, that's how you got to get those first ones. They usually happen under weirdo circumstances, and it looked like that's exactly what was going to happen for Toth.
Yep. Zach Hayes is currently the leader, doing in about 5 minutes in the FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am class. Jake Froman is second. Mike DeLosa was running third. Nathan Ferder in fourth. Jason Lipscomb in fifth. Jason Raines, who was battling a little bit there for the points lead, dropping back to sixth place. So that's going to help Ferder and Hayes and those guys in their battle for that race here today.
All right, we got some people checking in.
All right.
We know it wasn't Mikey. They're okay with Mikey Waynes.
Right. 250A class leader Brody Johnson taking, at least at the moment, went into the final lap in 18th place overall position. Second place in the top amateur ride was Tyler Brana from the Open A class. He's 21st overall. And looks like four-stroke A lights leader Joseph Cunningham was third in the overall as far as top amateurs are concerned. Two of those guys actually feature on the event T-shirt that you can get down at Moto Tees. Right now, we can get the word at the podium, the specialized podium, where it looks like Josh Toth has made his way down to speak with Mikey Waynes.
Thanks, Rodney. Down here with Josh Toth. Is it working? Did you get her clicked up? I think your money. Kind of hold that from the bottom. Make sure she keeps working for you there. Josh Toth, man, talk us through this race. I mean, you led 3/4 of that thing, if not more. And then just when Caleb got around you, we got the reports, his machine is smoking. We don't know what's going on. Toth gets back around him. We thought you had the win. I mean, literally, Rodney said, it's over. Toth's got it. And next thing we know, we're like, no, we're wrong, man. Tell us what the heck happened.
Yeah, me too. It was a close race. It was brutal. Luckily, I got a good start, got the whole shot, and checked out on the start, and just rode my own race the whole time. And yeah, got into some lappers and whatnot, and Caleb was able to close in a bit, and yeah, he was riding really well. And we were going back and forth for as much as you could with the dust, but yeah, racing's racing, and came down to close, and he edged me out. So.
Well, Josh, talk to us, man. One heck of a start for you. Right when the flag flew, you were off and rolling. I mean, the gap you had on these guys was absolutely incredible. And we actually played your interview where you were talking, well, this season's been ups and downs. I'm still in recovery mode. I'm not 100%. Yeah. This one's got to feel like a major, major confidence boost heading into summer break.
Huge, yeah. My mechanic, Chuck Money, he told me to get aggressive the first 40 feet and try to really twist it on the start, and that's what I did. Got out to good start. That's probably, I think that's my second whole shot ever in GNCC. So I'm not really a good starter, but up front when it counts, I guess, in the Sust race. So, yeah.
Well, Josh, big congratulations to you. Is the expectation for yourself now when we come back from summer break to snag that first win?
Yeah, for sure. It's I'm close, and just putting the pieces together, and we'll be back, and we'll be back on top.
Be back on top. Josh Toth right there taking second place here today at the High Voltage GNCC.
Well, simply put, Caleb got him, edged him out there in the very end, coming from the words of Josh Toth there. So, yeah, I mean, hey,
edged him out.
Edged him out.
Edged him out.
Edged him out.
Edged him out. Okay.
That's how.
All right, that's the quote.
Well,
edged him out.
Okay. It works. I mean, it's a funny situation. You know, lap traffic. He mentioned lap traffic. I mean, that could have been another issue. I mean, the gap wasn't that monumental, and maybe Caleb saw his opportunity. You know, Josh didn't go into detail what happened with there, but you know, it could have been a number of things that slowed him down and took him back that far. So heartbreaker there, but still a little champagne bubbly celebration as Mikey Waynes.
Where is even Strang?
He's popping bottles. Josh Strang out there to the left.
Is that him to the left?
Yep, that's him there to the left. So we'll be sending him over to.
This is our social distance podium.
This is our social distance podium. Absolutely. Got to keep protocol and keep safety as the utmost got to keep safety. We got to keep safe, and we got to keep racing. That's exactly what we're doing here. As we head down now to check out what took place today in that awesome battle for the third place position, and Josh Strang coming away with that one as he's with Mikey Waynes.
Well, thanks, Rodney. Josh Strang, man, a third place finish. The jersey's ripped. It was a strange GNCC to say the least. We know you wanted to be up there front with that battle today, but you got to feel good about a podium finish.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky there to get third at the end. Ben was right on me there towards the end, and just early on, once I got a little bit clear of the dust, I just tried to push too hard, and I made a ton of mistakes. So then I just kind of just rode the track, and I was lucky to get third. So it was a decent day.
All season long, you've been coming out swinging, and how are you feeling heading into summer break? Are you ready for break, or man, do you feel like you want to just keep on rolling?
Yeah, it'd be good to break. Hopefully, once we come back, hopefully the conditions, the rain comes and we get a little nicer conditions. Today was the dustiest race I've done in a long time. So, yeah, it definitely wasn't the most enjoyable track conditions-wise, and especially with the jump pen and this one with the heat and that sort of stuff. It's difficult racing in the heat every 2 weeks, so it takes it out of us. And be good to go on break for a little bit and then come back in beginning of September and do the last 5. That'll be good.
All right, last question for you. The little guy's with you here on the bike today. When are we going to see him out there rolling?
I don't know. He doesn't seem to show a lot of interest in motorcycles. Oh, he likes riding on them with me, but not by himself. So I don't know. We got him a set of golf clubs for his birthday and a football. So we'll see if we can steer him that direction a little bit, and he can make his own choice.
It's perfect. I love that. Golf, there's money to be made in the golf career, too. That is Josh Strang taking third place here today in the overall.
Got him golf clubs. I love it. I love it. Golf clubs.
Not a bad strategy. Not a bad strategy.
No,
I remember Caleb Russell saying that, though, when Crew came along, and you see where we are now.
Well, and it's like Josh. I mean, he says that Maverick doesn't really show a whole lot of interest in it. You can't take away what a kid's interested in, and Crew Russell is all about motorcycles.
He is, yeah.
Dude, I tell you, that kid, when he was learning to talk, could do the start of a GNCC as well as I can. I mean, before he could actually put sentences together, he could do the whole.
I thought it was bad enough that Ryan came in here and lapped us today, but
dude, that kid,
now we're talking 4-year-olds.
That kid is phenomenal. I just wanted to sit back today. I just sit back and I just let him do his thing, man. I can't wait till this kid grows up.
Yeah, he's solid.
If he continues into this, man, he's going to be a great broadcaster in the future, as well as he's a great rider, too. I mean, the kid wins all the time, too. So pretty crazy stuff. And Mikey Wayne's down there with the interview that we're all waiting for with Caleb Russell.
Well, thanks, Rodney. Caleb Russell, a win today, not in the normal fashion that we're used to seeing Caleb Russell win. I asked you right before we went on camera, I said, how you feeling? Are you upset? You said, yes, absolutely. What's going through the mind right now?
Yeah, it was a tough day. It was super dry and dusty, and was third at the top of the hill off the start. Dante kind of pinched me off there going in the first turn, so I got shuffled back just a little, and I was stuck behind him, and he was kind of letting Toth kind of walk away from us there. And I knew it was going to be tough to close in on him there the beginning of the race, and it was stayed at like that 30-second mark for a couple laps, and I kind of inched my way up, and I made my move on him, and with maybe going just before the white flagger, and as dry and dusty as it was today, I felt like we took a big gamble and not changing our filter. We learned our lesson at High Point last year on these same exact conditions, and we did it again. So history has a funny way of repeating itself, and I got the pit board on the last lap, saved the bike, and as soon as I got that pit board, I looked back and I seen it was smoking, then I lost power, and I was frustrated, and I fell over and I broke my shifter, so then I couldn't short shift, and I was just cruising around, and I kept looking back, and Toth was not there, so I think he was petering out, or he was trying to save his bike too, and he got up to me in the field, and I couldn't race with him, or I would have just tanked it right there. So he rode right around me, and I stayed, a little ways out of sight, because obviously he was faster in the field, and I was just putting around, but I kind of just snuck up on him over here on this section. I don't think he was going to expect to see me, and there's a lapper in front of him. He tried to cut early up a hill, and I just railed the berm. I was like, we're like I can push my bike. It's all downhill to the finish from here. If it blows up on the top of the hill, I can make it in and get second. So I went for it, got around him, and won the race. I don't know how.
So the gamble paid off, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but you know, it's not fun when you're gambling with your livelihood.
Nailed it right there. Caleb Russell capturing the win here today. Visibly frustrated, but coming away with a win here at the High Voltage GNCC.
Well, Jason, I think that with that, maybe explaining a few things as to why Caleb was visibly frustrated after that race, knowing that the one thing that could have saved them, they did not do, and it was a lesson that he said they'd learned over a year ago, not changing out filters. So I'm sure, you know, that frustration and then being able to sneak attack and take advantage of maybe Josh not realizing that Caleb was that close that close to the finish line like that, you know. I mean, I'm sure he's happy about the win and being able to take it, but at the same time, the frustration goes back to where he shouldn't have been put in that. He feels like he shouldn't have been in that situation, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of race wins go away, as you said, most of the time when it happens, it's because of something crazy happens, and in this case, it was not changing the filter and then the bike going away in the last lap. He's been frustrated over that many times in the past. He tells the story of making a pass there. Says there's a lap rider, and that's how it happens. So that's how they're gonna say it. We got to go with what they say.
And one thing to point out too, I mean, I'm sure Caleb, thinking about that points race, had he not scored points this time, he knows how tight the championship race is.
Well, that's the livelihood he's really talking about. Well, the risk they took was not losing the lead or the win, as we are ready for XC2 here with Johnny Girard, but the risk was that he almost lost 25 or more points to Strang today.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's head back down to the podium with Mikey Wayne.
Well, thanks, Rodney. Johnny Girard taking the win here today in the XC2, man. Rodney and I were talking about you when we were kind of previewing today's race. We said it's going to be hot, it's nasty, it's the middle of July. This race is going to have Girard written all over it. Look for him to take a win today. Here you are, brother, first place in the XC2.
Yeah, you know, I felt good. I got a good start, better than normal, and I knew it was my day. I felt good, strong. Craig caught me there in the middle, and my gas stop in the middle of the race just, you know, I got to work on. It's my weak spot, but I knew I had plenty in the tank and put the hammer down the last couple laps.
Well, Johnny, big congratulations to you. A podium finish just a couple weeks ago. You look like a different man in just 2 weeks. I mean, you barely got through that interview at the pit, and today you look like you still got some left in the tank. What kind of momentum? I think you ended up winning this one by, what, 40 seconds, I think you said.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just knew, you know, I wanted to get a win before the summer break, and, you know, I'm still in this championship fight, and I'm going to fight it all the way. I really want it.
You do, man. Well, big congratulations, Johnny Girard. What kind of momentum you got carrying into the summer break and coming back from that?
I got some sprint enduro racing and just going to train really hard and come out swinging for the last 5 rounds and give it hell.
There you go. That wraps it up right there perfectly. Johnny Girard taking first place today in the Pro-Am XC2 class.
All righty, congratulations, Johnny G2. I think we're going to just start calling him G2 for short from here on out. But great ride for him there in the XC2 Pro class. And, of course, a lot of folks wondering along the World Wide Web, how did Zach Osborne fare against the best and top off-road pilots in the world? 29th place overall out of nearly 250 riders today. So congratulations there to Zach Osborne on riding a very solid race here at this 8th round of the GNCC series. And, of course, I believe Craig DeLong making his way down to the podium as well to talk with Mikey Waynes and talk a little bit about how his Rockstar Day went here at the High Voltage GNCC. There
you go. Craig DeLong down here, a second-place finish today aboard the Rockstar Husky. Craig, man, talk to us what it take to finish out in the number 2 spot.
It was a tough day. I didn't really get the greatest starts, and the dust played a huge role in it, so fought the dust a little bit for the first 2 laps, and got up in the second there, and Johnny kind of set sail. I chipped away at the lead a little bit by little and ended up running him down. I stopped the lap early for gas and ended up playing in my favor because the next lap he had to stop, and I ended up running him down. So I got in the lead, and then about a mile into the that lap, almost got together with a lapper and lost all the gap I had over him. So, but he rode an awesome race. I mean, he got back by me and and set sail again. So can't take anything away from him, and yeah, we'll just come back in
a couple months. And we know you wanted to go into summer break with that win. Don't drink the microphone. We know you wanted to go into summer break with that win. Does this give you some added motivation heading into summer break?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you don't win is good for motivation, and there was definitely a lot of positives actually, and more positives than negatives. So, I'm happy with how I rode. Just some things didn't fall in my favor, and I had a good get off the last lap too, so I lost a lot of time. So, we'll come back and we'll be ready in 2 months.
You'll be ready. I absolutely believe that. There you go. Craig DeLong taking second place here today in the XC2.
Congratulations, Craig. Don't drink the microphone. the best quote of the weekend, Mikey Waynes, right there, my friend, as well, that just kind of, I think, wraps it up in and of itself. Don't drink the microphone. It was a rough weekend, to say the least, here at the High Voltage GNCC, but it was a great one as we come to the close for the first half of the 2020 GNCC series. Of course, 8 rounds deep of a 13-round series will return in September with more great GNCC racing action. We hope you'll return with us. In the meantime, don't forget to tune in to live and continuing coverage of Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Motocross Championship when we hit the first week of August. Here today, though, it was all about the dust that really made things tough today. Josh Toth got out to the early lead. It was a battle back behind him, though, as we've seen Dante Oliveira make a great start. Fell back a little bit as the day wore on, but we've seen Caleb Russell up to second. And the real battle came down to the third place position between the 114 of Josh Strang and the 530 of Ben Kelly. But toward the end, we saw smoke, Caleb Russell having to lay back, then taking the sneak attack in the final and closing feet to take the overall win and win number 67 here at High Voltage GNCC. That's going to wrap things up. I want to say a special thanks to the Weeds, Jason Wygant, for being on hand with us this weekend. Also, Ryan Amancio, our GNCC Fast Brat himself, and of course Mikey Wayne Simpson. I'm Rodney Tomlin on behalf of all of us here at RacerTV.com. Have a great summer break, everybody.